Abraham, a biblical journey that transcends time and faith. Who was Abraham? How did a man of humble origins become a central figure in the world's major religions? Today, we invite you to explore a story of faith, hope, and resilience that not only marked ancient history, but continues to inspire millions today. Abraham is not just a biblical figure. He is the very example of what it means to trust in the divine, even when everything seems uncertain. This video will explore his life, the challenges he faced, and what he represents in Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Stay tuned to the end for a lesson that will motivate you to reflect on your own spiritual path. Today we present, Who was Abraham? A message of faith and unity. Abraham, known in his early years as Abram, lived in the city of Ur in ancient Mesopotamia. His life could have continued in an ordinary way, but God had extraordinary plans for him. One day, God called him and asked him to leave his land, his home, and everything he knew behind to go to a land that would be shown to him. Trusting that call was not easy. Abraham didn't have a map or clear directions. He only had his faith. This first step marks the beginning of a journey that would not only transform his life, but also the history of humanity. From this moment on, Abraham begins to be an example of obedience and trust in the divine plan, even when circumstances seemed uncertain. Abraham's journey to the promised land of Canaan was not without its trials. According to Scripture, God promised him that he would be the father of a great nation, but there was one major obstacle. His wife Sarai, later Sarah, was barren. This divine promise seemed impossible. Yet Abraham continued to believe, even though his faith faced moments of struggle. The story of Ishmael, the son he had with Hagar, Sarai's servant, reflects a moment of doubt, a human attempt to hasten God's plans. Despite these setbacks, Abraham learned that God's promises are not dependent on human limitations. This teaching, which is both a comfort and a challenge, resonates deeply in our own lives when we face problems that seem insurmountable. God reaffirms his promise to Abraham through a significant covenant. He changes his name from Abram to Abraham, which means father of multitudes, and promises that his descendants will be as numerous as the stars in the sky. As a sign of this covenant, God institutes circumcision, thus establishing an eternal bond between Abraham and his descendants with the Lord. Then the miracle occurs. Sarah, against all odds, conceives a son, Isaac. This moment represents the tangible fulfillment of a promise that seemed impossible. The covenant not only symbolizes Abraham's unique relationship with God, but also the patience and persistence required to maintain faith over time. The story of Abraham reaches its climax in a test that defies all logic. God asks him to sacrifice his beloved son, Isaac. Abraham acts obediently and prepares the sacrifice, even when it challenges his understanding of God's promises. At the last moment, an angel intervenes, and God provides a ram for the sacrifice in place of Isaac. This act not only demonstrates Abraham's absolute faith, but also God's compassion and commitment to his promises. For those seeking spiritual inspiration, this story invites us to reflect on complete trust in a larger plan, even when we don't understand the immediate why. Over time, the promise is fully fulfilled. Abraham becomes the patriarch of nations, with descendants forming the basis of three of the world's largest religions: Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Through his sons Isaac and Ishmael, generations are born who will carry forward Abraham's impact. But beyond his biological heritage, his spiritual legacy as an example of faith and obedience transcends any border. It is important to note that Abraham was not perfect. He had moments of doubt, fear, and error, and it is precisely this humanity that makes him so relatable to us. Abraham is not only central to Judaism, where he is considered the father of the people of Israel and the recipient of the covenant with God, but also occupies a vital place in Christianity and Islam. In Christianity, Abraham represents unwavering faith. He is constantly mentioned in the New Testament as an example of justification by faith, a precursor in the genealogical line of Jesus. In Islam, Abraham, known as Ibrahim, is a fundamental figure of total submission to God, Allah, and spiritual strength, reflected especially in the annual celebration of sacrifice at Eid al-Adha. Through these diverse interpretations, Abraham becomes a symbol of unity, transcending religious differences to remind us of shared values such as faith, obedience, and the pursuit of the divine. Abraham's life is a mirror in which we can observe our own struggles, He represents faith in the face of the unknown, hope in times of difficulty, and perseverance when our own plans seem to fail. Whether we are facing personal challenges, doubts about the future, or important decisions, Abraham's story reminds us that there is a greater purpose at play. Whenever we doubt our path, we can remember his story and ask ourselves, what does it mean to have faith, even when we don't understand? Abraham's life leaves us with a clear lesson. Faith does not mean not having doubts, but rather continuing to move forward despite them. Resilience and patience are essential to achieving the purpose that God or the universe has for us. And finally, our decisions are not just for us, they have the power to impact future generations. Today, Abraham invites us to reflect on our own lives. Are we walking with the faith and confidence necessary to face life's challenges? Are we willing to exercise patience and listen to divine plans that, although mysterious, seek the best for us? Thank you for staying until the end of this video. We hope that Abraham's story has touched your heart and inspired you on your own spiritual journey. Abraham teaches us that faith and perseverance can change not only our lives, but also the lives of those around us. If this story encouraged you, don't forget to leave us a comment with what struck you the most. Share this message with those who might find comfort or motivation in it, and subscribe for more inspirational content. Until next time, and may you always find light on your path. Transform your life today. Discover a journey of self-improvement, spiritual growth, and motivation.